Listen.
Hey, y'all.
Let me tell y'all something. When CL came out looking all good with that top buttoned up,
I literally just found this shirt.
Look, I almost canceled the episode.
We got to go.
We got to go. Listen, we supposed to be talking about. Are we talking about the love today?
No, not yet. That's the next episode. We are talking about investing.
Well, scared money don't make money.
Scared money don't make money. That's what we talking
and
about.
I ain't scared to tell my man he fine. Okay,
well,
but it is.
Appreciate that.
Okay, as you see, we are already hyped and ready to have some fun. It's your girl, your home girl, Rosemary Lewis.
I'm Corey Lewis, y'all. Y'all gonna love this one.
Yes, y'all are going to love this one. But if you are, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for all of your support. We appreciate you being a part of this Eagle Talk family more than you all will ever know. And we get a lot of messages from people that are appreciative of what we do. And we ain't too proud to beg. So this is what we want y'all to do.
We're going to ask you for the 1 millionth time to please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, but look, level it up for us. We would appreciate it if you would go on, like, the one thing that you could do to just help this effort, help Eagle Talk. Of course, share with your friends. If there's anyone, look, if it's somebody out here that's scared to invest, put them on this episode, but all of the other ones as well. And if you could leave us a 5-star review, because y'all know how we are. Look, I don't roll into McDonald's before reading a review about that location to see if I even want to go in there. So the reviews really help us. And if you could just type something and just let everyone know that this platform is valuable, if it has blessed you, if it's giving you an aha moment, all that good stuff. If you don't like us, just email me that. Don't put that on the review. Right. But seriously, we appreciate y'all so much.
So we're gonna bypass the check-in. I'm good, she good. Let's go to work.
That's my favorite part.
We gotta give it to him. Let's go to work.
Okay, we gotta give it to him. So a couple weeks ago, CL and I I did two things that happened. One is I posted on my my Facebook just asking what are some challenges that entrepreneurs face. And then the other thing, and which came into like just knowing what to invest, like, being the hands and feet in your business and not really seeing any, like, you're making money and you're doing stuff, but like understanding like it takes my effort. So how can I make this money grow? How can I make it do something? What do I do with it? And then the next thing is we were watching a video, and I'm just tell y'all something. If y'all not on Steve Harvey,
been on Steve Harvey. Been trying to tell people for a long time.
Steve, listen. First of all, Steve Harvey, I just want to extend an invitation to you to be a part of Eagle Talk with Team Lewis. Mm-hmm. We would love to.
We fly out to Atlanta like EYL boys.
We will fly out to Atlanta. Like, we'll fly wherever you want us to. We'll figure it out, Steve. Like, whatever you say we got to do. If you say Saint Tropez, right. Look, we go put a fund together. We go be in Saint Tropez. But Steve Harvey is just such a wealth of knowledge. And what I like about him is that he is not shy to talk about falling on his face. He had a huge IRS deal where he had didn't have the right people in place, but he bounced back from that. And what I love about that story is, like, I remember at one point being like, man, every time I look up, Steve Harvey is doing stuff. Like, he everywhere. His booking agent good. And he was like, nah, I was trying to work off that debt. Yeah,
he was like $15 million in IRS bill.
Yes, but he is totally on the flip side. And Steve was doing a podcast. That's how we know he do podcasts, so he can do ours. And he said, the question that they asked him was your younger self. Okay, y'all got to think about, he is a comedian. He's famous. He's all this stuff. And they said, what would you tell your younger self? And I was very interested in his answer. You want to give what the answer was?
Yeah, he said he would invest. He said he would invest more and
more aggressively.
Yeah, and I liked that he said it. I like that he said it on the platform for Earn Your Leisure, because their audience is us for the most part. Young adults trying to figure it out also. But I like that he was vulnerable, he didn't say I would have went on more auditions. Right, He didn't say I would have, hung out with Bernie more, even though, he loved him. Yeah. But he really looked at it and said,
And I feel the same way. I would, which is why we're talking about this. But if I told my younger self was very risk averse and played it safe, but the what's the term? Nothing safe happens in your comfort zone.
Yeah, which is true. I think I gotta tread lightly.
Nothing good happens in your comfort zone.
Yeah, I want to tread lightly here, because if anybody knew me in my younger year, if what do they call it? At the farm was a person, that would be me.
The farm.
So I want to tread lightly here, but on the investment side, I like that he said it because it's 100% true. And I always say something that I've learned is you cannot save your way to wealth.
Yeah.
You have to invest your way to wealth.
Okay. But we are actually going to talk about it from a different lens today, because, you know, we have done enough episodes about investing and why we invest, but we want to really unpack why people don't invest, you know.
Mindset. Scarcity mindset.
It's a scarcity mindset. And when we say why people, I'm going to 100% put myself like, sis, me, Rosemary is people, right? So we've shared before, and it's just real interesting. And I even sometimes now I know that people who have known me, like I've always had an outgoing personality, but just a lot of risks that I'm taking in my life, from moving to Texas to, you know, being a real estate agent, entrepreneur, to showing up live here. That is so different than I have neon nails today. Which my mama would have thought these nails were so ugly, by the way, but I really love them. But anyway, and I would have told her, I was like, I like them anyway. But you know, I am in a space where I'm taking risks, but I want y'all to know that that is not naturally who I am. And I really wanted to unpack, and that's been a point of contention and a point of it's been a tough space in our marriage. Yeah. In a lot of instances, because there have been many, many ways that Corey has wanted to invest. And even if I wasn't on board, he said that we're doing it. And then I would be resistant. And I had to really unpack why I was like that. I.e., like the house that we're sitting in right now, I thought he was crazy than the Bessie Bug. Anyway, first of all, y'all have heard that saying, crazy than the Bessie Bug?
The whole building process, I did not have support.
He did not have support. I thought that it was gonna go to hell in a handbasket. Yeah. But here we are, right? Yeah. But why was I like that? You know, why was I like that? And the first thing that I think about is because that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what we taught. And it's funny that you say that, because I can think of 3 people's grandmother that, like, coming up through the years, we used to laugh on how their grandmother kept like her money in the mattress. Yeah. And when we really unpack it, y'all, I will, and I'm starting to think about this even more. What's that show? Black AF. Remember Amazing Black AF? Show. It was so good. It was the guy who was on Blackish, or who created Blackish. Kenya. Yeah, Ken. I forget his name. Yeah. But he created Black AF on Netflix. It was a pandemic show. I hope it comes back on. But they're filming season 2 right now.
Okay, good. Every episode he was like some because of slavery, right? And like literally. But honestly, y'all, when we really think about it, and I just thought about this the other day, like we are just now starting to see the effects of the pandemic, right? And we were in lockdown, a pandemic, like hardcore lockdown. Let's just say, depending in Texas, you was probably in lockdown 30 days. In other places, maybe a year. And we're really starting to see, I mean, from mass shootings to mental health issues, we're really starting to see the impact of the pandemic. Yeah. And it's
depression, foreclosure, the
whole thing. And it's going to be lasting, right? So if the pandemic, and we only had it for a short stint of time, and we still had our freedoms, but our freedoms were limited. Can you imagine, like, really a lot of stuff that our parents taught us, or that we know, especially in the Black community, is because of slavery. You know, it's that slave mindset, that, you know, just all of the things that we endured, or our ancestors endured. And that's not the point of this conversation, but really, I truly believe that's why grandma was putting her money in the mattress because grandma could not trust her money to go in a bank because she's a Black woman.
Yeah, no, totally, 100% accurate.
So when I say that it was our environment, I want to be fair and say that it might not necessarily be just because there is a scarcity or it is a scarcity mindset, but I think we have to be fair and unpack what causes the scarcity mindset, particularly in African American and other, minority communities.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is we have to first identify the problem.
You have to identify why you are the way you are. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that just even goes down to, I know somebody right now who won't eat peanut butter and jelly because her mama would make 5 sandwiches on Monday and put them in the freezer. Yeah. And she just associated them with being soggy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to unpack. So when I came to investing for me, no one really investing to the people that were around me was more like, you don't gamble your money like that. Right. Or you have so many people that were doing these schemes and stuff like that. It's hard to decipher what's real between what's not. And you just didn't play with you worked too hard for what you had to risk losing it. So I just really want to unpack first. That's where a lot of y'all type it in the chat, send me an email later. If that is where your hang up is, first of all, I was there with you, and on some days, even though we're still in this space, I have to be cognizant of when I am not excited to invest in something, why? And a lot of times it's that fear that came from my environment.
Yeah, well, I think also on this subject in particular that it's so much stuff out there that people have gotten scammed by. Yeah. Whether it's multi-level marketing, it could, remember the chain letters, we put the money in the mail, or the most recent one I can think of is the gifting. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So you have stuff like that people think they're going to make so much money, but it's really, you should have the opposite of thinking, because when you talk, from my understanding, when you're talking investing, you're talking about a game of patience. Yes. Everybody wants it now. Want something That's quick. Not how it works. I was listening to a guy the other night, and we were talking about they were talking about rising interest rates, and how rates are getting so high and it's pricing people out for a lot of investors that want to get rental properties, right? Mm-hmm. And he had a simple answer. He was like, don't buy. All you do is go and take over mortgages. Yeah. Because those interest rates, 3%, 2%, whatever, are already locked in place. And if the person is behind in taxes and foreclosure or whatever it is, catch it up. And now you have just ride it out the rest of the mortgage payment. It makes sense. That's an investment, but that's going to take time. So by nature, I actually wanted to look up the definition. So the definition of invest, it says to expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into financial plan, shares, or property, or by using it to develop a commercial venture. So by nature, y'all, when we talk about investing, you can take two people, and we've looked at these things with our financial planner, and let's just say we each take $200, and I'm gonna get the money all wrong, but just go with me here. If Corey takes $200 a month, let's just say a month, right? Mm-hmm. And he invested for 10 years. So $200 a month would be $2,400 a year. For 10 years, you've invested $24,000. If I take my same $200 a month, that $2,400 a year, that $24,000 in 10 years, I guarantee you, with what the banks pay on interest, I might have $24,500 if I'm lucky. Yeah, it's but you investing it would see a much different return. Yeah, that's a great analogy. And actually, remember Tony Robbins gave it in that book. Yeah, about compounding interest. Compounding interest. That's exactly what he said. He was talking about the twins. It was two twins that invested. One at 20. He just pretty much kept his money in the bank for 20 years, from 20 to 40. And the other one took the same amount of money from 40 to 65. Okay, so he did it later on in life, but he did it 5 years longer. Mm-hmm. And it was like a difference of, they had like $2 million difference. Because one invested and one just got the interest from the bank. Yep. So that's one reason why my money wasn't making money, because
of the mindset. And I have to unpack, okay, where did that mindset come from and why am I like that? But then here's another one, right? It's because my hand was closed.
Yeah.
Right? I did not understand the principle that money is fluid, right? Money has to flow. Money has to come to me and through me, right? In order for it to grow. And that's also a scary venture to open that hand because you have worked so hard and allow the money to work for you.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting because I've studied money a lot during the pandemic. And what I know for sure is in the last 3 years, the feds have printed, there's more money printed in the last 3 years than like ever has been, like in circulation, new money than ever because of inflation and the pandemic, of course. But when we're talking money, you have to understand that the dollar value of money is not what you see. So $100 is not worth $100 because of inflation. $100 could be worth $97. $100 could be worth $92 in the next year or so, which is why you're not supposed to technically save your money. You're supposed to invest your money because just sitting your money in the bank, that dollar amount is not real.
Yeah.
People think it is because that's what we're taught.
Right.
But if you understand and you study money, it's false.
No, that's a great example because you think about right now. I mean, I'm just like, if you have $100 and you would have went and bought gas 3 months ago,
exactly,
right? You probably would have gotten $40 back. If you take that $100 and buy gas now, you got to go back in the gas station and take 10 more.
There you go.
So that's a great example. Yeah. So that principle, scared your money, you get your money scared because you're holding on to it. Another reason why scared money don't make money is because we don't know what to do or how to invest.
Yeah, I was going to speak on that. What to invest in. There's a lot of question marks around that, right? Because crypto is very, very volatile and people can't stomach it. You can't have 10,000 one day and a month from now you got 4, right? Yeah. Stock market, same way, not as volatile. For me, studying a lot of the wealthy, they've got it through real estate.
Yeah.
Brick and mortar, it's insurable. If it burn down tomorrow, they're going to cut you a check. And if you just study real estate, period, over time, it's been just the best investment, safe investment, bar none.
So right before we started, we were talking to our producer extraordinaire, Glennis. Shout out to Glennis. On Instagram, he's GE Media. Check him out. He is just super dope. Yep. And Glennis, young man, young family, and he was just like, well, maybe I should talk about how to invest because you'll look on or an easy way to invest, right? To get into investing. And I told him, I was like, oh, buy a house. Like that's the very first thing. And automatically, I felt a little pushback when he was like, well, I'm talking about an easy way, like $5, just something small. And I was like, look, you can do small investments like that, but just understand that a small investment is going to get you a small return. Yeah. Right. So as much as we want to believe that, we can invest $5 one day, can $5 grow? Absolutely, it can grow, right? Yeah. But will it grow to the point where it's life changing? Even if you let it grow for years and years, that I don't know. What I tell you is $100 a week will probably grow more. And when we talk about investing, and the fact that if you are living, I'm putting on my realtor hat right now, but if you're grown up, then 9 times out of 10, you got to pay to stay wherever you are. Yeah. So it makes sense to figure out what you need to do. And we were like that. Like before we moved into this house, it seemed hopeless on us purchasing at that time. But we had to be creative. We had to be diligent. And by we, I mean Corey, because I was nervous. We had to figure out how we could make it work because at the end of the day, it was not like we were living for free. We were paying to live. So if you're going to pay to live, one of the easiest ways to just get into investing is home ownership. And then as you build that equity, you can pull out some of that surplus and put it into other investments.
I like that you say that. And I like that was great advice to purchase a property for yourself. Now, I will say this. If you listen to like the Grant Cardones or just people that are really, really make it, they say that your house is not an asset. Okay. I personally don't believe that.
Yeah.
And it's easy for them to say when you got a $3 billion net worth, right?
But then Grant went and bought a house.
Right. Well, he did wind up buying a house. Yeah. That is true. But the point that I'm making is, and they say that because you don't cash flow from it.
Right.
Okay.
But hold on, you get a good tax person.
Right. But here's my thinking with that. A, you get the equity. Right. B, whenever if you do decide to sell and, get an investment property and start a business, whatever it is, that equity that you make can springboard you to that next situation. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand.
As opposed to not ever buying a house and say, oh, because it's not making me no money.
You're not gaining
right.
anything.
And that's one of the things that I personally disagree with, because I can think of times that we've had a home for 2-3 years and we've made decent money and used that money for
the next
investment.
Right. So. And I'll say this, and even though Grant didn't preach buying a personal house, he still owned real estate.
Oh yeah,
right.
He owned $5 billion for real estate.
Yeah, he owned real estate.
$5 billion, something like that.
Okay, so here's another reason why I think scared money don't make money. Right? How we get our money scary, because we're not trusting.
Yeah.
Right? We don't trust. We just don't trust. Like, you ever have somebody? I have worked with, God bless. I have had some clients before where they feel like everybody out here to get them. Yeah. From the title company to the appraiser to me to, they're just so cautious. And again, I think it go back to slavery for some people. Or just if you have been experienced some distrust in the marketplace, I do understand that you have your guard up. But what I will say too is, you pretty much get what you're looking for, right? And by that, I mean, if you're looking for, we attract it, right? So if the energy that I put out is shadiness, or I can't trust this, or I can't trust that, all I'm ever going to see is red flags, as opposed to one of my affirmations that I have up in my room that I read every morning is, amazing opportunities are flowing towards me every day, right? So I think that when it came, again, for investing, initially I didn't trust it. I didn't trust this person. I didn't trust that person. And you do have to be smart, and you do have to do your due diligence.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, but I think at some point we have to have enough faith in the process and be able to follow it.
Yeah, I think with that, because investments are big deals, a lot of times, it's people's nest egg is some people don't have, or take it from somewhere that they shouldn't be taking it to invest it in. But I'll say this, get educated. Because if you get educated, if you have some sort of education about the space that you're trying to invest in, the people that are consulting you or you're having dialogue with, at least you have some sort of understanding and you're not just taking their word. Yeah. Right. So going back to what to invest in, and I'm sitting here thinking, because there are people that are listening that, like, when we're talking about home ownership, or let's just say investment property, right? And they're not in position, don't be scared to partner. Yeah. And a partnership may be 3 ways. Yeah. If it's a down payment of $15,000 and you got 5, find two other people. I'm thinking about
Tasha, our homegirl, who helped us with our Airbnb. Like, she partnered with her sister and her brother-in-law.
Airbnb, exactly.
Just to get in the game.
Yep. Yeah. Totally makes sense. So don't count yourself out. And then a big one that I'm going to say about investing is, don't be afraid. You have a great example of something that we're putting together with the couples mastermind. Mm-hmm. Get around other people in that space and be able to talk to each other and bounce ideas. Almost how I was telling you, and I actually had this conversation with Philip also about the interest rates and buying notes. My mind wasn't there. It was straight burr method, right? Mm-hmm. But on a lot of those deals, if my mortgage payment, because of the rate now at 7% instead of 3%, is $2,500, and I can only rent it for $2,650, it may not make sense. Right. So let me market or go after a person that, a seller in distress that's locked in at a 3.2 interest rate for the next 20 something years, and they just need to get out of that situation. Yeah. Right.
So I love that you said that. A lot of times I'm gonna play devil's advocate. We're scared. I was gonna say that we're scared because we don't have the knowledge, and we don't put ourselves in position to get the knowledge. And you do something all the time that I absolutely love. Like, it's one of the sexiest things you do. You know what it is?
Yeah, cleaning the house.
That's pretty. Look, let me just side note. The other day, You remember what happened the other night when I was cleaning up the kitchen, right? And Corey come up from behind me. He kissing me. I was like, you want to know what'll really turn me on? Go grab that broom. Like if you want to get it. Right. Like, oh, I'll show you what's gonna get me hot and bothered. Go ahead and sweep that floor. That's an investment for you.
You do like it when I clean. You say I clean better than you.
You do.
I think you gassing me up.
No, listen.
Go ahead with what I do.
But what I was saying is that one thing that you do that I love is that when we are in a meeting with people, talking about our own personal stuff, I'm thinking about when we were just talking to our tax strategist, when we're talking to our financial planner,
I know what you're about to say.
Even when you talk to your friends and they ask you a question about how you want to do something or allocate something, you say, tell me what your most wealthiest client does.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
I do.
tell me how are they moving? Like, what are they doing? That's what I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. And like every single time, that is the question that you ask, because you're like, I want to know, how is someone who is where I'm looking to be, how are they handling their funds? That's the same. Those are the same type of moves I want to make with mine.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't want to sit here and even take credit for it. That's something that I've learned from just listening to people, right? Wealthy people having conversations with wealthy people. And you just learn that. I think it's something that I call big think.
Yeah.
That's also a test to me to see if how big or small my thinking really is.
Yeah.
Ed, our financial advisor, that's always our every 6 months we have a meeting. If I'm trying to reset, recalibrate, or change some stuff, that's my go-to question, and every single time. Yeah. So thank you for even noticing that.
Hey, babe, listen, I noticed more than I. All right, y'all, we gotta go. No, seriously, we just wanted to take some time, because here is the reality of the matter, and we are. In the last, I'm gonna say, we've been here 8 years. So the last 5 years, our position looks different because we have made some investments, right? Investments financially, investments in self, investments in self-development, investments in marriage. And we are seeing a return on the investment.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm grateful that even though there were things that were and still are scared, we got to do it scared. So if you scared to move your money to make some, we're just going to encourage you to do so, because well, first of all, we are not your financial advisors.
Nope.
So go ahead and make sure that it makes sense. But at the end of the day, what I noticed is that if we're only saving and we're holding it, I think about my daddy. Love you, daddy. He don't watch this, so I can say what I'm gonna say, and I'm not gonna say anything wrong against him. But my dad has been a saver his whole life, right? And he has done well in terms of saving. And now he is 85, but he has had that habit of hoarding that was a mean word. Of collecting and gathering and keeping and storing what he has had. I'm like, so when we go spend it,
you're 85,
and I don't want, but he's still reluctant to, because he never really grasped that principle of money flows to me and through me, right? So even and we see that a lot. Like, we see a lot of people who are grumpy every time it's time to pay bills, even when you have it. Like, I got into a point. We talked about a couple episodes about when we talked about. It's episode number, Glennis, let me know which episode number was the Everybody Wants to Be an Entrepreneur Until, so that we can send them back there. But on that episode, I talked about, everybody want to be an entrepreneur until it's time to pay taxes. But I have to shift my mindset around taxes, right? Because you know what, Lord, I'm grateful. Because if I have, now I want to pay my fair share. I don't want to pay more than that. But when I pay my fair share of taxes, then that means that I'm making money. And I'm grateful for the resources to be able to have a tax bill.
Yeah, and then...
Okay, that was episode 58 and 59. Okay. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur until. Yeah,
and then on just the next thing, or the last thing probably on money and investing, just understand that your money has to go somewhere. Right, and
because it'll find somewhere to go.
Yeah, and y'all have heard me say this plenty of times. Just it's sitting doesn't work. It has to move. It has to work. Right. So just if you come from that mindset, at least starting with your education there about money, and just run with it from that point.
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, we hope that this was insightful. I was about to say enlightful.
Both.
We're gonna make up words. Right. We investing in your vocabulary, making up words.
Right. Yeah.
But we hope that this episode was insightful. I know it was for me, just talking through and unpacking some of my junk around investing in money. And just as a resource, I want to tell you that The Science of Getting Rich is a great book to listen to, and we always plug it. You are a badass at making money. She's also just going to talk about just unpacking some money mindset stuff in order to really believe the money flows to you and through you.
Yeah. So. All right. So I hope this was valuable, and we will see y'all on the next one.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.